Okay, so that was a false alarm. So more of me. I'm waiting for Nye to get back on stage. And so yeah, it looks like a lot of y'all think poor diet. I mean, poor diet is definitely not helping, but it's not the leading. It's definitely a cause, but it's not the leading. And so waiting for Nye to come backstage so we can get started. I wonder if she sees me telling her to come backstage. That's the better question. Woo! I was just like, where did I go? You look so great. Oh my God. I cannot wait for Q&A. So I'm gonna hop off so you can do your thing. And yeah, I'll be back for your Q&A.
Hello, everybody. Okay, let's see. My name is Nye. I also go as, my full name is Nayamka, LA Beautyologist on both Instagram and Twitter. My YouTube is The Golden Prescription, and I'm an esthetician. I've been an esthetician for 5 years. I've been in the skincare industry for 7 years. And I'm here, we're talking about balancing work life and self-care. I know a lot of people in this chat are business owners and, you know, aspiring entrepreneurs. So I've taken that journey, and I feel like taking care of yourself is an extremely important but very underrated aspect of the whole, you know, journey to success, whatever that means for you, whether it's, you know, making a certain amount of money or having a certain amount of things or recognition or awards or, you know, whatever that journey means to you. On the way, you're going to fall, you're going to fail, and you're going to feel like you didn't do enough. You're going to feel like you're going to feel like it's hard, because it is. You know, any journey worth taking is going to be difficult. And I really wanted to share ways that I've learned through many trials and tribulations of maintaining that work-life, you know, self-care balance. First, I'll start with sharing my story, and then I will share, you know, what I've learned throughout that story and what I think is really important to share with you guys. So let's see. I'm from upstate New York, a small town called Colony, located in Albany, the capital. And when I started my journey as an esthetician, it started because I failed out of college. It started, I was experiencing a lot of stress in school. I was starting to develop, you know, signs of what I now realize is depression and anxiety, but I didn't know that at the time. So I'm 21 and I'm in college, and I used to just do nails for fun. My mom was a cosmetologist, and she really, you know, like instilled in me like a lot of core tenets of like beauty and taking care of people and things like that. So that's what I did. I just did people's nails. I waxed eyebrows for like $5 in college, but school wasn't it for me. And I realized that very early, and I tried to kind of truck on, but halfway through my junior year, I decided to leave school. I left school and went into school as a nail tech because I liked doing nails, and it was just something that was easy for me to do and something that I could do, you know, to make money. I was still living home. I was 21 at the time. I turned 22 in school. And I was just doing nails. I was doing nails at home. I started doing nails for friends. I did pop-up calls. I did local visits. And then I started working at a local nail salon. From the nail salon, I moved into a local spa. It's a very big spa in the area. It's very popular. And there I really kind of delve deeper into my love of taking care of people. It's a full service spa. So we had a lot of people coming in for nails where I worked in the nail room. And there there's also the spa with the estheticians and the massage therapists and the hairstylists. And I really realized that, you know, a good amount of Black women were coming in for massages, and they were coming in for pedicures and things, but they weren't coming in for facials. And I wanted to know why. You know, I where the nail room was located was very close to a little conference room area that we had. And I used to hear them doing their talks and things about skincare. And I wanted to know why Black women weren't coming in to get facials. So it really intrigued me and made me want to become an esthetician, because I felt that there was a gap in that, in that industry, in that space. So I went to nail school, became a nail tech, and I decided I became a esthetician, and I decided I wanted to move to Los Angeles because I thought that LA would be the place, you know, the best place to do skincare. I now have a studio in Beverly Hills, and I'm currently working on moving into a larger 4 to 5 studio, a 4 to 5 room studio. So I'd have a full service spa, and, you know, a bunch of employees. And in making that transition, you know, in the process of getting there, I've really had to work harder than I wanted to. You know, I'm very big on the fact that Black women have gone through so much, you know, and what we've gone through exists in our DNA. It's a thing called epigenetics. So essentially it means that the trauma that your ancestors have faced affects your body. It affects your cortisol levels. Cortisol is your stress hormone that is also responsible for inflammation and, you know, breakouts when it causes additional oil production and things like that. And I wanted Black women to feel luxurious. I wanted Black women to feel taken care of, but I wasn't doing the same thing for myself. A lot of entrepreneurs have this idea of delayed gratification, you know, delayed gratification, because if you work hard now, you'll get to a better, brighter tomorrow, you know, and you'll have achieved your goals and you'll finally be happy, right? But what I've noticed is that it doesn't work that way. Happiness is a practice. Joy is a practice. If your body doesn't remember how to experience joy because you've been nothing with head down grinding for, you know, 6 months, a year, 3 years, 10 years, whatever it is, once you finally get to that goal, you'll still be unhappy. And I've hit many milestones, and I was just sad as to why it didn't feel as happy as I thought it was going to. Like, it didn't feel like all of my dreams come true and everything is better all of a sudden because I reached this arbitrary milestone that I had set for myself. When I moved to Los Angeles, I moved out by myself. I was 25 years old, and I got a little one studio apartment outside of Los Angeles, down like in the South Bay, a little bit further out. And I was proud of myself. You know, I was really happy for a good 3 months. Then my birthday came around. I didn't have plans to go back home. I was miserable. I was super sad. And that sadness really dragged on most of the winter time. My birthday's in December. January, February came. February, I did this thing which was like a personal retreat for myself. I deleted all my social media apps. I already had no friends yet in LA. And I really just buckled down and took care of myself. You know, I kind of leaned into my sadness and, you know, tried to break it down and figure it out and tear it apart and figure out how do I relearn how to be myself. And I think along your journey, you know, to success and in entrepreneurship, and not even just entrepreneurship, you know, like you're grinding at your job because you want to move up, even, you know, perhaps being a mother, that is a huge, serious undertaking. It's a lot of work. And during these journeys that we take, you know, to be our bigger, better self, you have to take those moments to like step back and like huddle into yourself and figure out what exactly it is that you're doing this for, and how do you want to feel while you're doing it. During that time, that February 2017, I cried a lot. I wrote a lot. I took walks. I rode my bike to the beach, which was 8 miles away, which was very difficult. And I don't recommend anybody riding their bike 8 miles to the beach and 8 miles back. But I was just trying things, you know. I was trying to be myself. I was trying to figure out what it takes to be myself. And it's really easy to drown yourself in work. It's very easy to drown yourself in accomplishments. I'm a very goal-driven person. So if I want something, I have to get it, and I will do absolutely everything to get that thing that I want. But like I said, if you're not taking you have to enjoy the journey, because the goal is just a goal. It's just a thing. You can constantly reach goals, but you live in this moment. When coronavirus happened, I had a lot of things going on. I had a lot of things up in the air. I had a lot of goals. And just in the first like 2 weeks of March, I lost about $20,000 in deals and, you know, brand things that I had going on and speaking events that I go on, everything canceled. And all of my plans to travel and do all of these things just stopped instantly. And I fought it for a long time. I fought my sadness and I fought my disappointment, because I felt disappointed in my disappointment. I thought that what it made me realize is that I wasn't being appreciative of my journey, you know, that I should be happy for myself at every moment, because you only live in this moment. My boyfriend Chris said something very profound during that time. And he said that, like, you know, coronavirus and everybody, you know, had all these plans, but those plans never, ever really existed, you know, like, it was just an idea. It was just a plan. We don't live in the future. We live in now. Nothing is ever guaranteed. Nothing is ever for sure. You know, like that false sense of certainty that we have can really make us feel safe. But in reality, nothing is certain. Like, I could walk outside tomorrow and get hit by a bus. You know, like, there's nothing that I don't have anything in the future. I only have now, which really helps me realize, and, you know, I want it to help you realize as well, that you have to enjoy, like, these moments now. Delayed gratification is, you know, very important for success, but you have to enjoy the journey while you're there. Like, you have to balance, you have to decide, like, yes, I want to work and I want to be successful. And sometimes that means staying up to 2 o'clock in the morning and then waking up at 7. But you can't do that all the time, because it's unsustainable, and because you deserve to enjoy this journey. You deserve to sleep. You deserve to take care of yourself. You deserve to be happy about where you are and what you have going on, without, you know, a caveat, without saying, yes, but, you know, I should have done this sooner, or yes, but I haven't reached this yet, so I'm only going to be happy when I finally get to that thing. Because like I said, your body, it's like muscle memory. You know, your brain, your body, your hormones, they tend to work on a loop. Your body really likes comfort and, you know, what it's used to doing. So if you're not constantly practicing and reaching for joy at all moments, you're never going to have it, and it's never going to feel like enough. And I have this perpetual fear of reaching, you know, a specific level of success that I've made up in my head that will make me feel like I've got it, and not feeling happy. Like, that idea makes me really sad. So thank you to coronavirus, because it's really made me peel back. I mentioned earlier that I have depression and anxiety, and I've been suffering up from it for probably about 10 years now, but didn't really notice until I moved to Los Angeles, honestly. And I remember a lot of the times in my journey, there's a period of time when it was Chris and I, and we were living in a studio apartment. Chris is a very big man. He's 6'3", and my bed took up the majority of the apartment. There's nowhere to go. It wasn't like really a nice area outside Los Angeles, and I was just miserable. But I felt like I didn't have enough money to do anything fun. I felt like every penny, every moment of the day had to be dedicated to getting to a better place because I was miserable. But every time, like Chris pressured me to like go to the beach or like take a walk, I felt better. And I think we need to start reframing joy and reframing fun and reframing, laughing and smiling as productive. Like those moments of joy are investments into your productivity. They're investments into your spirit. They're investments into your health. My body is very sensitive to stress, and I put it under a lot of stress, and I feel it all of the time. It's funny, when Alicia asked me to do this, I was like, you want me to talk about self-care and like work-life balance? Because I work in the self-care industry. I wash people's face and I create safe spaces for people, to relax and be taken care of and escape from work. But I don't really do that for myself as much as I should. Because I find it's very difficult for me. Like I said, I'm very goal-driven. My family, I'm from an immigrant family. My family's from Jamaica. Very, work focused. My dad, he's an engineer. He was always like grind hard and work hard and study hard. But they never told me that I had to enjoy it along the way. So I'm learning how to figure that out. When I'm like really anxious and really stressed, my body like shuts down completely. I get headaches. I get pains in my shoulders and my neck. My chest gets tight. So my body doesn't let me work I will work myself to exhaustion, but my body tells me when it's mad at me. It lets me know that like I haven't been prioritizing joy. And that may not be the case for everyone, but I don't want anybody else to get to the point where you have to, where you're in pain before you realize these things. Ways to find joy in the day-to-day. I always recommend to go back and think about what you like to do when you were a child. What was your favorite thing to do when you were 8? Do that thing. Every single day, you really need to be carving out like a happy hour, 1 hour that brings you joy of something that you're looking forward to doing. It could be dancing. It could be playing your favorite song, whether it's an appropriate song or a ratchet song. If you need to like make sure that your happiness is on the schedule, because if it's not, people will just take and take and take from you, and you will take and take and take from yourself and never have a full cup. And you can't give anybody else the best of you. You can't give yourself the best of you if you're not taking care of yourself. Cooking good meals. I'm going to give you guys a whole list of things that I wrote down that I recommend doing, when you're stressed out and when in your happy hour, every hour, make sure that every day, make sure that you have an hour that, encourages you to move forward. Things that I would recommend doing look like reading. Could be an old childhood book. It could be a new book that you've always wanted to read. Try not to make it a book that's in your field though, and a book that pertains to work, because that's not fun. Coloring in a coloring book. There are a lot of adult coloring books, and a lot of studies have shown that coloring really helps enlighten the creative parts of your brain and makes you a lot happier. And a lot more creative. You can watch your favorite movies, old movies, new movies, favorite TV shows, cooking, baking. Cooking and baking is something that I've really found peace in as of lately. They can be very long, tedious, time-consuming projects that span over an hour, but that is perfectly okay. And it takes your mind off of whatever stress you're having. You have to remove yourself from that stress in order to, see things in a new way, have a new, better ideas. You have to remove yourself from your work sometimes. I'm going to say that over and over again because it's true. Dancing and taking a nap. Both of those things I think are incredibly underrated, especially when you're home. But the movement of dancing, exercise, movement increases feel-good hormones in your body. So that will help your cognitive function. Joy, happiness aren't just feelings. They're emotions, they're hormones, they're real things that have very important, tangible benefits on your brain and on your life. I want you to enjoy this life. Let's see, what else? Going to the beach, taking a walk, makeup, doing your hair, looking good. I'm very strong about the idea that when you look good, you feel good. So dress up in your favorite clothes. Don't save them for any particular reason other than they make you happy. Let's see. At the end of all my YouTube videos, I say something, a phrase that I made up. It's not particularly unique or creative, but I did make up this phrase, and it goes, if it doesn't feed you, don't water it. And what I mean by that is don't give energy to things that do not water you, that do not help you grow, that do not make you feel whole. It can be a journey to figure out what those things are that do make you feel whole, but I really want to encourage you to lean in anywhere that you feel smart or important or funny or creative, anywhere that makes you feel safe, just lean in. If you drew a little sketch just on the fluke and you realize that, oh wait, I'm a good drawer, lean into drawing, look into drawing classes. It doesn't have to be anything. It does not have to be any of the things that I've suggested, but I really want to see more Black women prioritizing their joy, because your joy is like a resistance. Your joy is activism in and of itself. That's revolutionary. The fact that you exist here in this space, and that you're doing things that you've always dreamed of doing, and that you're smiling, and that you're happy, and that you're healthy. Those things are imperative to having healthy relationships with others and having healthy relationships with yourself. I always say that you should date yourself. Treat yourself like your own best friend. Self-talk wise, mentally in your head, but out in life, get dressed up and go to a restaurant. Don't wait on anybody else to go to that restaurant that you've driven by and you've always wanted to go to. Take yourself, enjoy your own time. I love like getting sexy for myself, if that makes sense. Like taking showers with candles lit and, really moisturizing and taking a long time to exfoliate and, shave and things like that. Like that is what makes me feel good. And those are definitely great starting points for your self-care journey. And something that I've noticed also is that every time I take the effort to spend time taking care of myself in all of the moments that I thought that I couldn't or couldn't afford to or didn't have time to, I was more productive. I made more money. I always make more money the month after I took a break, after the month after I relaxed. you know, there was a time I went to Miami for my birthday. I wanted to go to Miami for my birthday, but I didn't think I had the time or money to, and I was just going to disregard it. And Chris forced me to go to Miami for my birthday. I spent 10 days doing like nearly nothing. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And I came back and I killed it the next couple months because I had that joy bank to you know, lean back on. I filled up my tank. You know, you have to think of like joy and happiness is like fuel or water. It's like food. You need it. It's necessary for your growth and for your happiness and for your production and for your business and for your relationships with your parents and your spouses and your friends and your children. You need to be the best person that you can be, and whatever that requires, do it. I feel occasional guilt based on how much I like to sleep. I'm a very sleepy person, and I sleep like 9 to 10 hours a night, which is a lot for the average person. I sleep like a 12-year-old or like a teenager, but I need that, you know, like I can't feel guilty for something that my body needs. If that's what I like to do, then I'm gonna go to sleep, and I'm gonna sleep for a long time. I'm gonna wake up late, and I'm gonna start my day and enjoy my day when I wake up, which is later than everybody else. But you really have to like separate yourself from other people's expectations, and really kind of ask yourself what it is that you enjoy. When I'm my saddest and super, super depressed, thankfully I haven't been in a long time, but last time I was, which was about last year this time, I wrote down a really long list of things that I like to do. And even now I refer back to that list. You know, make a list of free things that you like to do, cheap things that you like to do, things inside the house that you like to do, things outside of the house that you like to do. Big things, small things, getting a pedicure, going on vacation, getting your hair done, doing your makeup, shopping, cooking, cutting, like drawing, literally anything that you enjoy doing. And you'll refer to that list back more times than you would ever really realize. Because I always have. Let's see. I want to encourage you to do things that make your future self proud, but also do things that make your that would make your child self happy. I really think we're all kind of just perpetually children in these big adult bodies with all these really stupid adult responsibilities. But at heart and core of who you are, like as an original, unique human, you're 6. And if you want to throw a temper tantrum and eat the ice cream, girl, eat the ice cream, throw the temper tantrum, go cry, take a nap, go shopping, spend too much money, like, or save all of your money. You know, like it's very individualized. So I can't really tell you what to do, but I want to try and give you as many ideas as possible, and let you know that it is okay to rest. And if you do not rest, you will never get to where you're going. You will not make it on a journey if you don't pour into yourself and feed yourself with happiness and joy and fun and, you know, happy relationships. Another element of self-care that is also probably very underrated is to be sad and to really unfold what makes you who you are in the good and bad ways. If you're scared to, you know, put work down and do something that makes you happy, you have to figure out why. That is something that you need to dig through and bust open and figure out what you're afraid of. Are you afraid of failure? Are you afraid of not having any money? Are you afraid of letting people in your life down? You have to figure those things out, because that at the core of it is going to prevent you from experiencing joy and from being in the moment at all times. Let's see. I feel like I'm rambling. I don't want to ramble and take up too much of your time. But
Great. I think what I love about your talk is that you share with us and like being able to just that no, not everything. I don't know why there's an echo.
I don't know either, actually.
Because it's only when I talk, which is super okay. It's stop echoing, praise. Okay. No, but just being transparent. And sometimes when people see, influencers or they see people online, they're just like, wow, like their life is easy and this is, all the great things that they're doing. And they don't realize that like, no, people are going through adversity, and people do struggle in the beginning and people forget like it takes 10 years to be an overnight success. So it's just like people forget all those things. And I appreciate you highlighting those things and also helping us figure out how we can incorporate self-care. Someone did have a question about journaling. Is that something that you've tried before?
I journal occasionally. I don't journal daily, and I don't journal as often as I would like to. When I think of journaling, I think of like pen and paper and like writing down my feelings. But often what I'll do is I'll, go into my notes app and kind of just like brain dump. Sometimes I'm very like I talk a lot, but like I think like 7 times more than I talk. So like my brain is going like 100 miles an hour sometimes, and I just need to brain dump. And I think I'm pretty sure that's essentially what the core of journaling is. It's, getting the thoughts out of your brain and onto paper so you can kind of like understand it and dissect it. So I mean, absolutely, journaling is super important. I just don't really do it in the way that I should. I think if I did it more frequently, I'd be much better off.
No, I love it. And then I had another quick question for you. If you were supposed to leave us with like 3 tips on self-care or things that we could be incorporating, what would those 3 tips be?
3 tips. Let's see. I would say, firstly, is definitely do something that you enjoy every day. Every single day. It has to be on the calendar. It's as important as answering your emails and, like making the big deals and doing your accounting and taking a shower, like period. You have to prioritize it. Something else I would recommend is, let's see, I actually wrote these down so I wouldn't forget. The other thing I would say is do things that you would do when you were a child. Be your child self, whatever that means. Whether it's cutting up t-shirts and airbrushing things, picking up rocks, stopping to watch people play at the park, whatever it is, really detach yourself. And then next is probably like social media related, would be to only follow people who inspire you. Instagram now has like a mute feature, which is like really great. So like you can follow people and not really see like their stuff. But you have to, like when I first moved to LA, well, I was planning to move to LA. What I did, I followed like 15, 20, 30 people from LA who lived lives that I wanted to live. People who I could see and be like, yeah, I want to do that. Not in a way where it made me feel, like guilty or subconscious. People who reflected me, people who I thought were authentic. And the irony of it is I've met nearly all of these people, I've met nearly all these people and I'm friends with some of them, which is like insane, but like when you decide that you want something, you have to make like visually, like what you see around you reflect that. And if we're going to spend a lot of time on social media, you have to kind of like curate it like your, vision board in a sense, and follow people that you like, follow people who you admire and respect, and want to live life like people you could see yourself being friends with. not people who make you feel bad or guilty or, I wish my life could be like that. Like people who really like connect to your heart. I think you can really leverage social media in that way, in a positive way, instead of in a like self-loathing kind of way.
I absolutely love this. And I think we need to continue this conversation. Nye, if you have time, maybe we can hop into my booth after this and we can like chit chat with people and you can tell them more about what you're doing. Because I think this is a longer conversation, but I know people are like, where's the winners? Like everyone wants to know who's getting the money. But I will leave off saying that like if it doesn't positively contribute to your mental, emotional, or physical well-being, you got to let that shit go. And I think that is like key, most important. And, I'm just so happy that you decided to take me up on the offer, even though you're like, me, self-care. I'm like, yes, girl, you. So I'm really happy that you're here. And so just let me know if you have time to stay after, and then I'll like set you up.
Yeah, absolutely. That's totally cool with me.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to take you off the screen so that I can get our sponsor, Moesha, and Kim on screen so we can announce these winners. And yeah, thanks. I'll see you in a few.
Thank you.
Bye.